Right now, scientists know the surface of Mars far better than our own ocean floor. Somewhere beneath your feet tonight, something no human eye has ever witnessed is now swimming. 95% of Earth's entire ocean remains entirely unexplored, buried in permanent crushing darkness. More astronauts have walked the moon's surface than divers have touched the ocean's deepest point. Down in crushing black water, pressure could flatten a steel submarine like an empty can. We have mapped Venus's cratered surface more precisely than the ocean floor beneath our seas. Squid the size of school buses could be gliding past unsuspecting ships somewhere right now. So why does the place closest to home remain the least explored place on Earth? The answer lies inside crushing pressure, endless darkness, and a budget problem few people discuss. By the end of this video, you'll never see the ocean the same way again. The ocean covers 71% of our planet's surface, stretching farther than any continent. Its average depth reaches over 2 miles, deeper than most towering mountains stand tall. Drop Mount Everest into the Mariana Trench, and its snowy peak would still vanish underwater. The ocean holds roughly 1.3 billion cubic kilometers of dark, constantly moving water. That's 99% of the livable space on Earth, measured purely by total volume. Yet humans have physically laid eyes on only a tiny sliver of that vast space. Most of what you picture as the ocean is its sunlit top 200 meters. Beneath that thin blue skin waits an alien world humans barely understand or have seen. Every glowing coral reef documentary you've watched only ever films the sunlit, shallow surface zone. Past 200 meters, sunlight vanishes utterly and the water fades into total inky black. Scientists call this the twilight zone, a dim blue world stretching thousands of meters downward. Below that lies the midnight zone, a place with zero natural light, forever and always. 90% of the ocean's entire volume exists inside these permanently dark, lightless, freezing zones. We call it exploring the ocean, yet we've barely scratched its own outer surface skin. Imagine only mapping a city's rooftops from a plane and calling the whole city explored. That is essentially what humanity has silently done to Earth's largest, most mysterious living habitat. Now compare that to space. We've mapped 99% of the surface of Mars. NASA's yearly budget alone dwarfs every dollar the world spends exploring its own vast oceans. We've launched rovers, satellites, and telescopes toward distant planets millions of miles away from Earth. Meanwhile, the deepest trench on our own planet still remains almost totally unmapped and unseen. It's strange. We search for alien life in space before fully understanding our home planet. Some of the strangest creatures alive on Earth might be hiding beneath our fishing boats. So why does space exploration get billions of dollars, while ocean science gets pocket change? The real answer isn't a lack of curiosity. It's something far more brutally and punishing. Traveling into space is, in some strange ways, far easier than diving into deep water. Space is an empty, silent vacuum. The deep ocean is a crushing, unforgiving underwater fortress. To understand why, we need to descend, layer by layer, into total suffocating darkness ourselves. Each zone we pass through grows steadily colder, darker, and far more dangerous and deadly. What's patiently waiting down there will entirely change how you see the sea forever. Let's descend now into the parts of Earth that humans cannot even survive without machines. Let's descend together now, meter by meter, into the ocean's hidden, forgotten, ancient layers below. 0 to 200 meters, the sunlight zone, bursting with vibrant color and coral. This thin sunlit layer is the only part people picture when they imagine the ocean. 200 to 1,000 meters. Welcome to the eerie, dark, dim blue twilight zone. Sunlight fades into a dim, ghostly blue glow, then disappears utterly into total, surrounding blackness. Temperatures drop sharply here, and strange, shadowy silhouettes drift silently past you in the gloom. Below 1,000 meters begins the midnight zone, permanent and absolute, crushing darkness without end. Not one ray of sunlight has even touched this water in all of Earth's history. The only light flickering down here comes from creatures that generate their own eerie glow. And everything down here only grows more extreme the deeper you continue slowly falling downward. At 4,000 meters, The pressure equals 400 atmospheres pressing steadily inward on everything. That's the crushing weight of 40 parked cars onto every square inch of your body. Human lungs would collapse almost instantly here without extreme, specially engineered protective diving gear. Submarines built to survive this depth use steel and titanium hulls several inches very thick. In 2023, a tourist submersible violently imploded near the sunken Titanic wreck within milliseconds. The crew inside likely never had a moment to register what was happening around them. At the very bottom, inside the Mariana Trench, pressure exceeds 1,000 crushing atmospheres. That equals carrying 50 entire jumbo jets stacked directly onto your shoulders, all at once. Very few machines built on Earth are engineered to survive that kind of crushing force. This single brutal fact explains why so few humans have ever gone that terrifyingly deep. Here's something most people never realize. Satellites simply cannot see through deep ocean water. Radar and cameras built specifically for mapping land are totally useless once below the surface. Water slowly absorbs and scatters light within just the first couple hundred meters of depth. To map the seafloor accurately, scientists must rely on sound waves instead of ordinary light. Ships fire sonar pings downward, then wait patiently for the faint echo to bounce back. This process is painfully slow compared to instantly snapping a single satellite photo of land. Mapping the entire ocean floor this way could take many decades of ship time. Ships surveying the open ocean cost several $1,000s for every single hour they operate. Multiply that steep cost by millions of square kilometers, and the total becomes utterly staggering. This is the hidden reason space often feels easier to explore than our deep sea. But here's the part that keeps scientists coming back, again and again, despite the danger. The deep ocean isn't empty at all. It's teeming with strange, alien-looking life forms. Creatures living down here glow in total darkness, using light their own strange bodies create. Anglerfish dangle a glowing lure right above their heads to trap unsuspecting prey in blackness. The Mariana snailfish survives nearly 8,000 meters, much deeper than scientists once thought possible. In 1977, scientists suddenly discovered entire ecosystems thriving near boiling, superheated underwater volcanic vents below. These strange creatures need no sunlight at all. They feed on chemicals from Earth's core. That discovery entirely rewrote everything scientists once thought was required to sustain life anywhere. If life can thrive there, it changes how we search for life on distant planets. Every single deep-sea expedition still uncovers brand new species that science has never recorded before. Only 3 humans have ever piloted a vessel down to the ocean's absolute deepest point. In 1960, Jacques Picard and Don Walsh reached the Mariana Trench aboard the tiny Trieste. It took nearly 5 long, tense hours just to slowly sink down to the bottom. For over 50 long years afterward, nobody on Earth attempted that terrifying dive ever again. In 2012, filmmaker James Cameron piloted a solo submarine all the way back down alone. He later described the trench floor as desolate, lunar, and entirely alien to him. In 2019, explorer Victor Vescovo dove to all 5 of the ocean's own deepest points. Each of his dives required brand new engineering that had never existed before his mission. Even today, fewer than 30 people have ever reached true, full ocean depth anywhere. Compare that number to over 600 people who have already traveled safely into space. When Flight MH370 vanished in 2014, search teams confronted the ocean's own true, staggering scale. It took years of slowly scanning empty seafloor just to search one single likely zone. Finding the Titanic wreck back in 1985 required over a long decade of failed searches. It rests nearly 4 kilometers down, resting in permanent, near-freezing, pitch-black underwater darkness. Every deep search mission risks sudden equipment failure, total darkness, and unpredictable crushing currents. No rescue team anywhere on Earth can reach you at those crushing depths in time. One mechanical failure, one cracked seal, and then there is no way back up ever. This is why deep ocean missions often cost more per hour than most crewed space flights. Exploring the ocean was never about a lack of interest. It's pure simple survival math. And that harsh survival math is finally starting to change, thanks to bold new technology. Robotic submarines are now silently doing what human divers physically cannot ever survive doing themselves. Autonomous underwater vehicles can map the entire seafloor without ever risking a single human life. These tireless machines dive for weeks straight, sending data back without ever needing to surface. In 2017, the ambitious Seabed 2030 project launched with one single massive shared goal: map the entire ocean floor in stunning, complete detail before the year 2030 finally arrives. Before this project even began, less than 10% of the seafloor had detailed maps. Today, thanks to new sonar drones, that number is finally climbing fast and rapidly upward. Ships, satellites, and artificial intelligence now combine their data faster than ever before possible. Machine learning helps scientists spot hidden patterns that humans would take years to ever notice. For the first time in history, mapping the whole ocean finally feels genuinely possible now. But why should any of this really matter to someone living far from the coast? The ocean steadily absorbs a quarter of all human carbon emissions every single passing year. Understanding its hidden depths helps scientists predict future climate change with far more scientific accuracy. Deep-sea organisms have already led directly to breakthrough medicines, including new treatments for cancer. Chemical compounds pulled from deep-sea sponges are used inside modern chemotherapy drugs even today. The seafloor also quietly holds untouched mineral deposits worth an estimated trillions of dollars total. Rare metals needed for batteries and electronics sit largely unexplored down in that permanent darkness. Every unmapped trench could still be hiding cures, resources, or discoveries that we can't predict. We are essentially ignoring most of our own home planet's vast, totally untapped natural potential. And every year we wait, we may be losing species we will never even document. Private companies are now racing hard to build cheaper, deeper diving submarines than ever before. Tourism down to the ocean's depths is slowly becoming real for a very steep price. Universities worldwide are actively training a brand new generation of deep-sea engineers and pilots. Everyday citizen scientists can now help classify deep-sea footage right from their own living rooms. Live streaming footage from ongoing expeditions lets anyone watch discoveries unfold in real time today. Interest in ocean exploration is finally rising again after decades of being largely, steadily ignored. Governments worldwide are slowly but steadily increasing ocean research budgets as public awareness keeps spreading. It's still a tiny fraction of space budgets, but that stubborn gap is now closing. Think about it. An alien planet's surface feels more familiar to us than our seafloor. We built rovers to explore Mars before even finishing a map of our own backyard. The ocean isn't distant or foreign, it's really the biggest room in our own house. And most of that enormous room, we've genuinely never even opened the front door to. Every single wave you've ever seen quietly hides a world still entirely unknown to science. The next truly great discovery for humanity might not happen out in space at all. It might be swimming silently in darkness, several miles beneath a passing ship right now. So here's the real answer to why we still haven't fully explored our ocean yet. It's not because humans simply don't care. It's because the ocean fights back incredibly hard. Crushing pressure, total darkness, and staggering cost have always kept humanity stuck at the surface. But that stubborn wall is finally starting to crack, one careful expedition at a time. We now have more tools, more funding, and more curiosity than any era before us. Within our own lifetime, we may finally see the entire seafloor mapped in complete detail. And alongside it, thousands of new species and mysteries we've never even imagined could exist. The next great explorer to make history might not wear a spacesuit at all. They might instead be sitting behind a screen, piloting a robot into total crushing darkness. So next time you look at the ocean, remember what's silently hiding beneath its surface. 95% of it is still patiently waiting for someone to find it first. If this video made you see the ocean differently, then that's exactly the entire point. Let me know in the comments. Would you truly ever dive into that crushing abyss? Subscribe now if you want more deep dives into the mysteries still hiding on Earth. Because the biggest frontier still left to explore might be right beneath our own feet.